Hey guys, Saki here, and welcome to another episode of Kerbal's Space Program. In part 18, we will finally return our Kerbal knots from Minmus to Kerbin. Now, luckily, we are on plane. As you can see, our command module is orbiting the planet. We've got Jebediah down there as the lunar module pilot, and we're just going to wait for the command module to soar overhead. And luckily, with the low gravity of Minmus, it doesn't take much delta V to orbit. So as this thing passes over, we really only need to make up 150 meters a second. And now it's flying overhead. We go to our staging screen and we look up into the galaxy there, and we see it flying overhead 5 kilometers above us. So we're going to burn and turn towards our pink navigation marker down there. And we don't need a whole lot of thrust, as I said, to make an orbit. So we're not going to burn at full speed, but we are going to raise our landing legs and see what trajectory we have going. Since I'm not going to encounter this thing straight away, I'll just play it safe and get a nice circular orbit around the planet, probably above, because I don't want to go slamming into any mountains. So a nice 7,000 meter altitude should be good, and then we'll just circularize that at around 7 kilometers there. Same as always, using our maneuver node to circularize our orbit, and then once we get that circularized, we can perform our plane change. So we're coasting above now. It almost seems like we're crawling, but pointing towards, and as you can see, we're going to chase our command module there with Bob on board. Bill and Jebediah are ready to go home. It's been a while. I apologize for the lack of videos, but I've been recovering from a cold that just tore my voice to shreds. But here we go, burning. It's not going to be a long burn, and we're playing with borrowed time as far as our battery is concerned. So we have to make sure that every movement of this capsule is planned out and will serve a purpose. We don't want to be flying around all willy-nilly. So we're a few degrees off, as you can see, but 5 degrees is easy to change. We'll go ahead and get this on plane. 0.7 difference, 1.4, we've gone too far, half a degree. There we go. That looks like a good plane change burn. Rotating our nav ball to face our maneuver node as standard practice and accelerate time to get around the planet. You don't want to be below 5,000 meters because time acceleration doesn't work down there. So if you're waiting to catch up to your module, you'll be waiting a really long time. So it's good to gain some altitude and do your time acceleration there. 10 minutes until our maneuver now, and it's going to be a 15 meter a second burn. We've still got plenty of fuel in the tank. Really, the only thing that's going to keep us back is our battery charge. But from here on out, all my spacecraft will have solar panels and battery packs. So battery charge should not be an issue from here on out in future missions. But there we go, doing our plane change now. Right on the dot, 0.2 meters a second difference. We'll kill our maneuver node and see our inclination now. Looks like we are in a nice circular orbit. That's where we're going to intersect. 0.1 degree difference. So now we just wait for it to catch up. And what I've done is now I've switched to the command module, and I've done a few laps around Minmus, and because the command module has more charge and more fuel on it than my lander, I'm actually going to use the command module to intercept instead of the lunar module. So just fine-tuning, There's 1.5 kilometers. Adjust my firing time. See if I can get that any closer. As long as we're close. Oh, there we go, 0.3, perfect. Now orientate my command module towards our maneuver node. As standard practice, we can see debris out there about 1 kilometer out, but we shouldn't hit it, luckily. And there is our lander right there, 26 kilometers out. So we are underneath it, traveling faster. And then we're just going to need a 5 meter a second burn right here. Anytime to 1 and 5 meters a second. And that's all we need. We will intersect, if everything goes to plan, about, let's see, where does it put us? Yeah, 200 meters out. Perfect. So we will see you once we get there. Here comes our lander. It's going to be flying slightly overhead. It's that half-degree difference that we had on the plane change here. And we are ready to burn with it to pick up our speed and basically make the lander's altitude our altitude. So here it comes. It's going to pass by its closest point, and we only need 5 meters a second to stop. Okay. Just barely burning here, bringing the target speed down slow, nice and easy. And there we go. We've parked. Now just point towards it, and away we go. So the low gravity of Minmus makes this really easy to maneuver. We don't have to worry about massive changes in direction. So burning forward, translation, and we will see when you get close. And we're lined up 10 meters away from the lander now. We are nose to nose. Standard Gemini 6 and 7 practice. We're going to be coming in, as coincidence would have it, we're about right over our flag planting spot. That's the blue marker down there. 4 meters out, and once these two join up, I'll be able to transfer the fuel and make the burn back home. Up, little bounce. Okay, we gotta kill this just using RCS. Don't panic. It bounced away, but it's easy to save. Just some forward thrust with the RCS. We've come to a stop, and now we're coming back towards it. Same direction. Let's see if the magnets grab it this time. Up, now they're working. And there we go. All 3 Kerbals have joined on the same craft. Doing decent for battery. Could be a little better, but it's enough to get us back home. Not a whole lot of fuel to transfer out either, which is a good thing. Now we will wait until we are dayside to do our astronaut or Kerbalnaut transfer. We dip below 15,000. There's the sun. We just point it to where we can see our hatches on both ships. Luckily, when they went nose to nose, both hatches are basically right over the top of one another. We kill our rotation, and you can see there's the hatch for the lander, and just below that is the hatch for the command module. So Jebediah will be first. He just jumps forward. And no, he can't quite reach the ladder. So engage the rocket pack and float down nice and easy. Grab the ladder, and in Jebediah goes. Good to see you, Bob. Bill is the last one to leave. He tries the Jebediah maneuver. Nope, he can't grab the ladder either. So use your EVA pack and drift down into the hatch. Boarding straight in. Don't even use the ladder. And now we are ready to go home. We'll shut off this engine. So we have one activated. And I make a mistake here. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just use the staging. I'll just hit spacebar and get rid of this lander. Unfortunately, it was in the wrong spot. So now our command module, fuel tank, and engine float away. And now I'm almost like Apollo 13. I have to rely on my lunar module to now get me home. So luckily I didn't use that much fuel from the lunar module. But next up is planning, and let's see if we have enough to get home. Planning now, 200,000. There's 38. That's enough to get into the atmosphere. That'll have to do 170 meters a second out of this lander engine. And we don't have to make a big change in direction. There we go, and accelerate time. And we'll do one orbit around Minmus and get ready to fire. We're at 8 units of battery left, and it's getting down to the wire. There's Kerbal and debris. Next time we come around Minmus, we will be shooting towards the planet. Our trajectory will take us against Minmus's orbit. It orbits in a counterclockwise fashion, so we are going to burn clockwise. And we will cancel all of our movement and basically fall towards Kerbal once we leave the sphere of influence around Minmus. A nice Minmus sunrise, 6 minutes out from our burn. We've drifted off the maneuver node just a bit, but luckily it's not a big change. We've got enough battery to do that, and burning full speed for all this lunar module's got. It doesn't have the power that the command module engine had. We'd probably already be done with the burn by now if we had that command module engine, but making do with what we have to make sure this engine can give us enough. And that camera change shows we've left an orbital standing, and now we are going to leave the sphere of influence eventually. We just have to make sure we leave it at the right speed. 20 meters a second now. And alright, how's 2 meters a second difference? Is that going to be enough? Kill that maneuver node. Yes, 4,000 meters. Alright, hope that that lasts once we leave the sphere of influence. So now we are leaving Minmus. We'll focus on the Saturn V capsule and wave goodbye to Minmus. It's been real, it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. Goodbye, Minmus. Nice sunlight change there. And once this nav ball changes, we will be falling towards Kerbal. Any moment now we'll get that change. Minmus growing really small in our rear view mirror. And there we go. Camera changes. We've fallen, and indeed we were at 4,000 after, and we're now in re-entry. Our Kerbals can come home. Nice re-entry effects as we scrub off all of our speed below 3 kilometers a second now. And we're over the ocean. I didn't get to do a plane change and try to come over the Kerbal Space Center this time. Thanks to our staging mishap, the parachute comes out literally as soon as it's ready. But that's slowing us down, being concrete attached to the side, making sure these parachutes don't fly off. I can't wait for that to change. That'll make re-entry a whole lot more difficult once these can fly off. But now we just let gravity do the work. So we'll fast forward now to the splashdown. The Kerbal's next goal, we are heading to Duna with a satellite. So first interplanetary missions coming up soon. But until next time, this has been Saka. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.